All right, folks, when it comes to dating, there's a big gap between what they think they deserve and what they actually qualify for when it comes to relationships. And this gap is what's causing all the issues in dating. Let's get into it.
I think there's a lot of women moving through life where they feel like they deserve a lot of things that they're not even qualified for.
I think that we as women don't understand all the things that we disqualify ourselves from for making bad decisions in the moment. What I mean by that is when you do get pregnant by multiple men. What I mean by that is when you are okay with gaining 50 to 100 pounds. What I mean by that is when you're not drinking water. What I mean by that is when you're not taking care of yourself. You literally are disqualifying yourself from a masculine man. Why? Because one of the number one things that a masculine man wants is a visually appealing woman. That's what is going to get him to the door. Now, your character is what gets him to stay. But if you want the best, you have to be the best, because the best isn't choosing average. Like, what's inside of our realm.
Green tea.
If you're a woman that keeps attracting losers, I need you to do one thing for me, and it's going to sound a little crazy.
What?
I need you to ask yourself, what ways am I being a loser in my current life? Which ways am I playing small? In what ways am I saying I'm going to do things but I never follow through, so my word means nothing? In what ways am I secretly sabotaging things that are good for me? Because
So, ladies, next year I'll be 30, and if it's one thing that I had to learn the hard way was do not go for the nice guy with potential. And here's why. You're going to look up and y'all will be teenagers and you'll be like, oh my gosh, he's such a nice guy. He has potential. Then you'll look up and y'all be engaged and you'll be like, oh my gosh, he's such a good.
What else can you get? They all talk like they're dime pieces.
And then you'll look around and you'll see that this is a bloodline curse that everybody goes for potential. Everybody in the family goes for, all the women go for potential.
No, it's not that they go for potential. They go for what they qualify for, what they can actually get. What do you mean? You are potential. Yeah, I guarantee you, if she go look at all the women in her family, they 300 pounds, they got 500 kids by 200 different men. You know what I'm talking about, right, Big Shirley? I'll take that as a yes. I see you're busy.
Rich man doesn't mean happy life. Rich man doesn't mean generous man. The way that I look at it is that, okay, you're rich. What can you do for me?
Below average women always want an above average man. Like, you hear women all the time saying how, I wish I would date an average man. What's wrong with the average man?
Nothing.
You're not even an average woman. You are below average. So who are you to say that you deserve an above average man? You don't deserve an average man. What's wrong with average? Majority of the population are living average lives, average people.
If you love fine dining, why are you dating a man who refuses to take you fine dining? Accept the information that he has already given you, okay? If he refuses to do something that's legitimate and that really helps you feel loved and secured and valued, like,
Nothing.
That's a structural mismatch. It's not something that you just work out.
Look, ladies, listen. The reason why you're not finding high quality men on these dating apps is because, let me break it down to you. So there are two kinds of men. There are two types of men. There are the men who have that inner trust, who have that security within themselves and that confidence in themselves, and they have no issues approaching women in real life and making real life connections and pursuing women in that way. Then there are the men who have many dysfunctions and things that stop them from being able to approach women in public. So those are the kind of people that you are meeting on dating apps. Okay?
You guys tell me in the comments, do you think they believe all that, or are they just on social media for views? Do they really believe that? This argument? They don't understand that preferences must align with what they look like, how they carry themselves. So for her to point out the dating apps doesn't mean anything. See, this is the one thing that leads women to failing. They become men. They think just like men. That's what the dating apps have done. It made them more visual, something we are. That's why you hear the sisters talking about, "Oh, girl, he fine." Then you hear the other ones talking about, "Where are the hot guys at?" And this is why they end up, because of a good-looking dude or a hot guy doesn't mean he's going to treat you well. So what does it matter?
Put women in the position they are most qualified for. I don't think you guys understand how much bullshit you will save from yourself if you just did this. You as a man, you have to know who's qualified to be in your life. You have to know the women who are qualified to be around you and be in your presence. And you also have to know the level of access each woman is qualified for. Every woman ain't qualified to be laying up in your bed kissing on you. Every woman ain't qualified to know how you feeling or have access to your intellect or have access to your care or provision. Every woman is not qualified for that. A lot of women ain't even qualified to lay down with you and have sex. When you don't understand that, you allow people into your world who slow you down.
90% of women do not fall into that space of deserving the kind of man that will protect and provide on that level. You might get the guy who will take you to a fancy restaurant. You might get the guy who will throw you $200-$300, but he's not going to spend 20 bands to build your business because you're just not that bitch. First of all, you don't have a business. You don't even mind your business. Before we expect a man to move his money around, we have to be real with ourselves. Check your mindset, check your mental. Where are you at? Are you in a place where you know what you want, or do you just want boobs and don't even know how much they cost? You want a new car, don't know how much it costs. A lot of women walk around and they're like, rich man me. I want to be with a rich man.
So I saw this video and this guy was saying that the modern day woman does not qualify for a top tier man. And the lady asked him, well, do you consider yourself top tier? And he said yes. And she said, well, what are your qualifications? He said, well, I'm over 6'4". And I make over 100,000, and I'm black to add that on. And it's laughable to think that men in 2025 believe that how much money you make still qualifies you for being a top tier man. That is not true. And she proceeded.
Some of these women are just delusional, because the way she's speaking right now makes no sense, because we see it over and over again. That's the number one thing women ask for. The dinero.
You know what? If a man wants to get with me, he has to be a 100% provider. That means he pays all the bills. You got to pay all my mother effing bills. Otherwise, you can stay up out my face. For real, for real.
This is a little PSA. I think we need to collectively stop chasing people we don't qualify for. Somebody need to say it.
Green tea.
Because there's this illusion out there. We get sold with the whole idea of manifesting. You can be whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Follow your dreams. That doesn't apply to relationships with other people. Because some of you out here think you can obtain someone that you don't qualify for. Hence and point. If you have been sleeping around most of your life and you decided that you was going to get right to become a Muslim husband or Muslim wife, and now you want the person who's never slept around. They chaste, they a virgin, or they only been with a husband or a wife, and you think that's what you qualify for? That's what you deserve? That's what's going to serve you? Let me tell you what's going to happen when you get in that situation. You're not even going to know how to deal with that situation, because the mindset's going to be different. The expectations is going to be different. The standards will be different. A person who has never slept around is going to have a different standard than someone who's always sleeping around, who's always been sleeping around.
Yep.
So you don't qualify. You don't meet the criteria. I need us to really pay attention to that. We need to stay in our lanes, stay in our leagues, and then we can all have happier situations.
Yes, talk to him, sister. Green tea. Green tea. That's the key. Stay in your own damn lane. Stop acting entitled when it comes to dating and relationships. because your outcomes are tied directly into your qualifications, how you carry yourself. They don't align with your aspirations or your self-perceptions alone. And this is why you end up frustrated all the time, because you think how you feel about yourself is how others going to see you. And that's not how it works. Understand your level and you'll get better outcomes. All right, that's it for this video. Until the next one, the truth will set you free.